ahead and start recording this. So I'm Missy Diane. I've been a wholesaler for almost 5 years now. And I have noticed there is some missing pieces in wholesale education on all the meat and all the how-tos do certain things in the wholesaling. So I need to get that down better. But I wanted to show you guys what all types of buyers are out there. Now, this list isn't going to be the most complete. I'm sure there's going to be some people that are going to be like, oh, and these kinds of buyers and these kinds of buyers. But this is a pretty good list to start off with. And you're going to see how wholesaling can become this crazy like maze of like, where do you want to go with it? Because there's so many ways to go with it. And I noticed a lot of people just go like one way. And I'm like, there's so many things you can do in wholesaling. So I'm going to show you guys kind of my thought process on buyers, and hopefully this helps you guys out on anything or add something to your business or whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see the buyers that I have written down here, and I'm going to go through them so you guys can have an idea of what all buyers really are out there. So if you're in dispositions on your team, or if you're doing your own business and you are dispositions for your team, either one, it doesn't matter. I would recommend checking Redfin, HAR, whatever source you like to go to daily, and check out the new properties that are coming up, what properties are out there. And it's best to figure out what kind of investor, I'll go to this in a minute, but what kind of investor, what kind of buyer you would be, and just be looking at those properties. Start getting to know them a little bit more. You're going to start noticing trends, and when buyers are having a hard time finding a particular property, like, you know, in Houston, you may not be able to find a mobile home park or an RV park for sale online, so you're going to have to find it off market. You know, just little things like that really helps you know, oh, there's some buyers out there that'll be looking for this and they can't find it right now. So when you hear about it, you don't just pass up those kind of opportunities. Now, the types of buyers, I recommend also, and you guys do whatever you want. This is just something I've learned along the way, and I wish I would have known this stuff to begin with. But some people say, find a deal and you'll find your buyers. That is true. I did it that way. But you can be way more organized and way more targeted if you actually know who your buyers are first. And then you can get the inventory that they would want. Or figure out what kind of inventory you would want to go after, and then figure out what buyers would like that. Either way. So what kind of buyer would you want to be? Most people don't want to just stay a wholesaler. They actually want to start investing themselves. So what kind of buyer do you actually want to be? Figure that out. Some people are like, I want to be a rehabber. Talk to a few rehabbers. Get to know some people in that business and see the pros and cons of that. Some of you guys will be like, I want to be a landlord. I want to do the BRRRR method. I want to be an owner finance investor. I want to buy apartments. I want to do storage units. I want to own a mobile home park. You know, I want to develop land. I want to develop communities. I want to, you know, whatever it is that you want to be, make that your end goal. And then let's reverse engineer to the wholesale. Wholesale is basically a large lead generation company that they have the option, if they wanted to, I mean, that would turn them into an investor, to buy the properties, rehab them. But as a wholesaler, you get the best of the best, because you get to see everything that's coming in at the prices you're getting it in. And if you're going to be an investor, I think it's beneficial to know how to be a wholesaler, to know how to source your own deals. So now that you figure out, hopefully, what kind of investor that you want to be, or later on figure that out, then think of like, that's the buyer you probably would want to go after. Reason why, you're, as a wholesaler, you're constantly connecting people. And the best wholesalers connect you with the lender, with the contractors, with anybody you need to help you out and make the deal go smoother. And they know what they're talking about. They can be educators, the dispositions in wholesaling. So whenever you're going after those types of buyers, you're actually talking to people who've been doing it. So you can pick their brain a little bit. You can ask them, why didn't you buy this one? And really the feedback is great, not just so that you know what is good for them, but you as a future buyer, you need to know, why aren't they buying this? I would buy it. Well, maybe you shouldn't buy it. You shouldn't buy it. You need to ask them why. So getting feedback will be a lot easier for you. I know that I would ask, you know, my team, I'd be like, get the feedback, get the feedback. What are buyers saying? We need to have feedback. And how many buyers are you reaching out to? Are you only reaching out to one and getting feedback from one and thinking that's the everything? Like, what's going on? And I noticed, like, without that extra push of them actually wanting the feedback, they didn't really try hard to get the feedback. So if you know why, that helps getting the feedback. And then so I wanted to actually go through the types of buyers. You guys can see it here. So the types of buyers, there's rehabbers, and really with rehabbers, they're the ones who flip the properties. They don't want to buy over 75%. They really don't want to buy over 70%, but over 75%, they're really cutting in on them incurring some kind of loss if anything goes wrong. So, or even like barely or breaking even or making only like $5,000–7,000. That 30,000, that 30% in between really is important for them to have, because a holding cost, especially if they had a hard money loan or a private loan, for a holding cost, taxes, which is part of holding cost, the closing cost on both ends, because when they buy it and then when they sell it, and then you know, realtor fees, which is also part of closing cost, and then the profit, all of that comes out of that 30%. So like they have to have it at a certain amount or they're going to lose. And rentals. So landlords, if you don't ever want to lose money in real estate, be a landlord. Just hold it until it rises up in value. If you screwed up on the rehab, just hold it longer. That's one benefit of being a landlord, is you can just hold it and rent it out until it actually makes you some money. So they usually can buy a little bit higher of ARV if they're like a seasoned investor. They're not going to, or if they're more about volume and they don't care too much about making a certain amount for each one. They can go to like 80% of ARV minus repairs. Actually, I work with a hedge fund, and we will buy things in Houston, San Antonio, and Austin at 80% of ARV if it's got a really small rehab. So just keep that in mind. Let me know if you guys have anything like that. And then, but they usually get their loans. Like if you get a loan, you have to think about how these buyers are thinking, like who are their lenders? How much are they having to put down on these properties when they cash out refi? Is it really worth it for them? Are they having to keep money in the property? Are they getting it all out? You know, and this is why it's important for you to figure out what kind of investor you want to be first, so that you can really get in the minds of these people and become a better investor when you're ready to buy. And I would say, like, after your 5th wholesale deal, if you're selling, if you're saving how you should and putting things where you should be able to buy like a deal on your 5th wholesale deal, hopefully. And so it can happen kind of fast, just depending on how much work you put into it. So landlords, 80% of ARV, because they usually need like a 20% equity in there. And sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're just cash flow. You just got to ask what kind of landlord they are. What are they after? Are they on the cash on cash? Just ask them, what kind of investor are they? What are they more about, the cash flow every month? Or do they want some equity in there also that they can pull out after a certain amount of time, like knowing in a year they can pull out some money, or in a year they're still going to be kind of even or barely under even to pull any money out? Like they're going to have different things to think about. So usually 80% of ARV, sometimes lower. So the BRRRR people, so they buy, they rehab, they rent, and they refinance, and they repeat. When they buy, the ones that, if they actually follow the method, you're supposed to buy the first house cash, and then you fix it yourself, and then you refinance and pull out the cash and buy the next one while you have that one rented. And then that's how you actually start it. But some people start the BRRRR with a debt. It's going to take them a little bit longer to get where they want to go, but you can do it. It's just, you can't be buying over 70% of ARV and making it work. especially now, whenever cash out refis are down, some people are down at 65%. So they won't cash out anything over that. So if you bought at 70%, did the repairs, and you really are at 70% after doing repairs, you have 5% you're going to leave in the property if you do a cash out refi. And like we've seen in this pandemic, for a little while, they seem to shut off cash out refis. So you have to be adaptable when you're a real estate investor. Now, the next one is owner finance investor. I actually didn't mean to go so long on this. I'm going to check my Facebook. If you guys think this is way too much information, I just need to get off now and y'all get the point. Just let me know. If y'all have some questions, just let me know. I'm going to check my Facebook to see what you guys, if y'all have said anything. Oh, thanks. Okay. I'll just go through these really quick. So you've got the owner finance investor, you got the owner finance buyer. So that's the one who actually buys it from the owner finance investor. You can skip the owner finance investor and just structure the deal yourself and find the owner finance buyer. They actually pay the most. So retail, and then you can get really creative with owner finance and creating notes, and it's a really cool thing to go into. You guys should check it out. So retail, you can always find retail buyers too for your properties directly from ads like Craigslist or even from realtors. That's why it's good to market with realtors, especially the ones that deal with like investors. They have investor clients they're looking for. Become friends with them. They can usually get you a little bit more money for your properties with their retail buyers. So lots, you can just focus on lots and land. I mean, Jenny does that. You guys can, if y'all know Jenny, y'all see her out there. There's so many aspects of that. And actually, I could break down each one of these even to more. So like Rehabber, I can break it down to the high end, the low end. Like landlords, are they Section 8? Are they, like, are they luxury? Are they Airbnb? Burrs, like you can do this with luxury. You can even do resorts. Like, you can break this stuff down. So you don't actually have to just be straight, this is what it is, like what everybody says. You can get really creative in each one of these. So I think that's why it's important to have focus, especially if you're on your own or you're starting out with a smaller team. And some people will be like, well, I don't have focus, I'm good. That's fine, whatever works for you. I just find more focus and more niches bring more riches. So lots, retail for house development, mobile home, RV friendly, commercial, and then like land for development, retail, like somebody who just wants to buy like 25 acres and put a mobile home on it or build a house. And then mobile home and RV friendly land. Maybe you can even develop it into an RV park or mobile home park. And commercial, and what I mean by commercial, that could be developing apartments, shopping centers, whatever. Now, to give you guys an example to really open up your mind, this is what I really meant to get into earlier. Was whenever you're dealing with buyers, you don't have to just deal with individuals. You can deal with hedge funds, family offices, apartment buyers. There's a lady who all she does is find land for Chick-fil-A and wholesales it back to it. She wholesales it to them. And she makes really good money, and that's all she focuses on. She knows what they're looking for. She finds the land, she sells it to them. You guys can find certain developers that what they're looking for is land in certain areas. Get to know what they're looking for. Find those things. Like me, I work with a hedge fund. I just have to find the properties that they want. I don't even have to actually, I could just narrow down my marketing just for that or whatever it is. And then storage units, hotels, shopping centers. Like there's so many kinds of buyers out there. So family offices, this is what I wanted to get to. Hedge funds and family offices. Now all this other stuff, it's really, really cool. So is this. So when it comes to family offices, a family office is like the Rockefellers, where they're just a rich family who has a lot of money and they want to invest in real estate. And actually you'll find even larger companies, like my mentor right now, they actually created like their own family office because they have so much money coming in that now they're having to invest in real estate. And it's like people get to that point where they need to start investing in real estate. and they have all this money. Guess what, guys? That's a great position to be in, and you need to be dealing with these people. So check out family offices. You can check out family offices, office.com or something. You can even purchase a list of them and just call them and get to know a few and what they want. You can get to know hedge funds like that too. You can work with people who work with those people. I mean, there's so many opportunities here. But whenever you look at the buyers, you can really see how many opportunities really are in being a wholesaler, what types of wholesaler you can be. And really, whatever you go for, just learn as much as you can about that particular buyer, that particular inventory, the seller of that kind of inventory, and figure out, this is what I say, target a buyer type, create avatar. What an avatar is like, what would be your particular buyer? Is his name Bob, and does he own his own construction company, and he likes to do rehabs because they're easy because he already owns his own construction company, and he's about 60 years old, got plenty of money. He's a quick buyer, you know, like what does he do? What is he like? You know, even give him a name or she a name. And then you understand their problems and their pain points. Like his problem would be he can't find enough deals to keep his rehabs, his team busy. So he needs more deals and he likes buying in this area. So you, guess what? Market in that area and you're going to bring him some inventory. And then you tell him the story and how you're going to fix their solution, help them with the solution with their problem. You know, like, hey, one time I had a guy that was having this problem. We helped with the marketing in that area. We got in a few deals. I'm sure we can do that for you too. Let me see what we can do. And then you target the inventory or you target buyer. You keep it simple. This probably doesn't seem simple right here, but it really is simple if you just pick something and then start studying as much as you can, figure out who the buyers are, figure out who the mentors are, figure out what groups you need to go into to start learning. So that's a start right there. I talked way longer than I expected to. I'm going to see if anybody had any questions. And I don't know if this is lifetime, so it doesn't seem to be. But, well, if you guys have any questions, just ask them below. I'll get back to them as soon as I can. And if you like the video, please like or love. And if I have a Facebook group called All You Need to Know About Wholesaling, please join it, check it out. I'll be posting these kind of videos in that group. I will be deleting these kind of videos off my public personal page after a day. Well, you guys have a great day.